Praises and glory to Yahweh, B'Shem Yahshua, B'Shem Rakadash. The bonds to the apostles of GMS and Ruel. And shalom to the faithful men that's continually doing the work of the Lord. Now, Lord willing, this is just a quick video. I just want to speak on, the countenance of a person. How, that can change, wickedness can change a person's face, and then, also can make their face to shine. You know what I'm saying? So quick little testimony. I was just at my mom's crib, and now she recently just started believing in the Hebrew Israelite thing because her dude or whatever the case is. And of course, it's not like the 100% truth or nothing like that, but whatever, you know what I'm saying? But her dude supposedly is a Hebrew Israelite. She told me about him and shit like that. But and I could tell, me and dude haven't really gotten to a deep conversation. I already knew it was up. I ain't really wanted to talk to him about that because, niggas be faking, you know what I mean? And now I see that it's true. You know what I'm saying? Because I just went to her crib earlier today, and then she was telling me, she brought these things up. I don't really teach my mother no. When I first came to truth, I tried to, which, brothers, don't even try to teach your parents, bro. To be honest with you, don't even fucking try it, bro. Leave that alone, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, bro. Leave that alone. To be honest with you, but and the more you mature in the truth, man, you understand, there's no need for that. You know what I'm saying? Lord willing, But anyways, she got a dude, that's supposedly, that was, know about the Hebrew Israelite thing. And I already knew he's one of them type of niggas, barbershop type niggas, over righteous, because she, she would tell me shit, and I would hear her sometimes when I go over there. Sometimes I hear that nigga talking a little bit, you know what I'm saying? You can tell he one of them type niggas. Don't go out there and teach at all. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so she was like, pretty much, she was like, this nigga changing because, because he does security, and then that, so he was at his one job, the fairgrounds, and they was doing some voodoo type event, and she was telling me, dude sending pictures, and they teaching little kids how to do voodoo, and that, right quick, that shows you that America is Babylon the Great because of that witchcraft, selling the nations through the whoredom and witchcraft, right? But so and she said this man, he's starting to change ever since he took this picture, and he sent the picture of him next to this voodoo nigga. My mom showed me. You know what I'm saying? He nigga dressed up, the whole, the skull type, just some weird ass, clothing. You know what I'm saying? Obviously a damn warlock, alright? And then sent me the other picture. It was like a little wall thing you stick your head in, and it's like decorated and shit. And he just got a straight face, and it's just like you can see the countenance is just different. And even my mother, she was like, yeah, ever since that picture, he's just been acting different. His eyes been darker. You know what I'm saying? And now she told me he got a Jesus picture, Jeebus, straight up Jeebus as a necklace on his necklace. You know what I'm saying? And she said he's talking about like she correcting this nigga, like what the fuck? Like how the hell is your that shit bugged out, bro? You know what I'm saying? And then he's telling I don't believe in that voodoo shit, so that's why I took it, man. But the point is, man, as she was telling me these things, man, my mind, it's like I said, I don't really teach my mom, you know what I mean? Like I said, man, but like while I was thinking, when I was, having these things when I was saying in my mind, I was like, man, because she said his eyes got different, and and now he's acting different, and you know what I'm saying. And I'm sticking to that scripture about changing of countenance. Sirach 13:5. It says, "The heart of a man changeth his countenance." All right, your mind. You know, so this nigga, you know, he got a little too close to that voodoo shit, and he thinking, and how the fuck you a Hebrew Israelite and you don't know that you believe that the voodoo ain't real? That don't make no sense, man. If you a Hebrew Israelite, you should know there's witchcraft in the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? But and now you got a idol on your neck. That don't make no sense. You know what I'm saying? But so his heart changed, man. His heart, you know, he obviously wasn't in the truth in the first place. But the heart of a man changeth his countenance. And yeah, that's what she said. You see it in his eyes. His eyes got darkened and shit. You know, and you could just look at certain people in their face. You can see in their eyes, their face, that this person ain't fucking right. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be good or evil. And a merry heart maketh a cheerful countenance, right? So whether your heart changed to good or evil, it's going to affect your countenance, your face, you know, your appearance, your whole spirit, your aura. You know what I'm saying? Because these things are real, and it just confirms the scripture each and every day that, you know, that these things are real. Witchcraft is real, and the things that you allow inside of yourself, the way you think, can change your whole body. You know what I'm saying? You know, also words are powerful. You know, same thing with my mother. You know, she got a lot of plants and shit, and she was like, yeah, I've been speaking to them, and they've been, and ever since they've been growing, and I already knew what she meant before she even gave it a full breakdown. And she was like, yeah, because, you know, you speak to them, you know, because they did that experiment. You speak good to a plant, it grows and be prosperous and green. But if you talk shit against a plant, it will die. You know what I'm saying? Because words are powerful. So that's why you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful of the things that you allow. Because, you know, like the scripture says, there's no enchantment against Jacob. You know? But still, I'm not about to go to a fucking voodoo goddamn spot. You know, of course that was his job, but, you know, I guess he can turn down some jobs too. I know if I had the opportunity, I'm like, man, fuck that job. I ain't about to go work at that shit. And if I have to, then, you know, I'm gonna have some type of protection. You know, I'm gonna keep saying the name of the Lord and you know, anoint myself, all these different things. You know, but he just didn't give a fuck. He thinks that the shit ain't real. So I believe, yeah, man, you know, he already had a demon on him, but I believe another demon probably latched onto him. You know what I'm saying? Because, hey, man, you know, he was a little careless. You know what I'm saying? So, and also that goes for a woman too. You know, Sirach 25:17. It says, "The wickedness of a woman changeth her face, and darkeneth her countenance like sackcloth." And you see that, you know, you can see certain people, man. You can see like a ghetto ass ratchet, because, you know, some brothers they stay away from certain nigga women, and not all nigga women, like Elias Muhammad said, not all nigga women the same. You know, he didn't have that type of experience with them. It's just, which nigga woman you dealing with, Jake? Like, goddamn, some Jake gonna deal with a complete hood rat and then just be like, I ain't dealing with nigga woman no more. I mean, I get it, whatever, that's you. But, you know, I remember one time, bro, I was about to come up, you know, try to talk to this one girl. And in my head, bro, I already knew by her countenance. I was like, man, this bitch wicked as hell. She proud. She one of them ghetto bitches. But I went up to her and said something any goddamn way. I ignored my discernment through the spirit, probably Yahweh Shema Shai, and I did it anyway. And then she gave me fucking attitude, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then, cause I didn't know she had a boyfriend or something. But when we got in line and shit, then somebody came up beside her, and I could hear her saying, "Oh, that's him." And I'm like, what the fuck going on? You know what I mean? But some things you can just fucking tell, man. So even when it comes with women's countenance, man, you better, man, be honest, but don't think what you think. Cause she pretty. Look at this bitch's face, man. Look at her spirit. You know what I'm saying? That's the spiritual power that the Lord gave us, man. Now we can discern spirits. We can discern whether this person is a genuine person, or is a wicked ass nigga, or just a snake, or you know what I mean. We could just tell. We could tell whether a nigga is a Jake, or he's just a heathen or tear. The Lord gave us this power, so that's why we gotta really take heed to these different things, man. You know what I'm saying? But let me see. This is Sirach 37 and 17. It says the countenance is a sign of changing of the heart. Four manner of things appear: good and evil, life and death, but the tongue ruleth over them continually. Right? So the changing of your heart, which is your mind, it's gonna show forth on your face, and everything. Like I said, your whole being. You know what I'm saying? If a person on drugs is gonna change their countenance, it's gonna darken it. You're gonna have all these different shit on your face. But if you get clean and eat all shit, even the simplest things, you get hungry, you get thirsty, and you ain't eating, or you malnourished, you ain't really eating or nothing like that for a very long time, it's gonna show on your face, man. Same thing with wickedness, same thing with goodness, man. You know what I'm saying? And you could just see it. Certain of these people, especially like these celebrities and shit, you can see, man, it's just like something wrong with these motherfuckers, man. You can just see the wickedness in their face. Sirach 19 and 29. A man may be known by his look, and one that have understanding by his countenance. You see, when thou meetest him, because I'm gonna get that, Lord willing, next. Wisdom make your face to shine. And people in the world see that. People in the world, they be like, man, there's something different about y'all. I remember I went to Iowa, and one brother, I forgot his name, Salaki, it was an Asher brother from Asher, from tribe of Asher. He was taking me to the other brothers, and he was like, yeah, we was in the same spot. And then some people came up to us, and they was like, man, we see the God in you. And we see that a lot. You go to Cleveland, brothers say the same. People say the same thing about brothers. We just walk and do it, and we be in our own little fucking world, bro. Sometimes we don't really just talk. Sometimes brothers might talk to a bitch or two, whatever. But sometimes we just be in our own little fucking world, bro. Chilling, cooler, bro. And we just having the most fun by ourselves. We don't need no bitches, cause some niggas, they just go out just for bitches and that's it. You know what I'm saying? But we don't need all that all the damn time, man. And you can just see some people looking at us, and they like, oh shit, you know what I mean? One of the funnest times I had with the brothers here in Columbus, bro. At the camp, we went to go walk down the strip, bro. It was so fucking fun, bro. We was just chilling in our own fucking world, bro. They was playing reggae music, bro. We was dancing, bro. We was just, bro. Brothers was freestyling, bro. We didn't give a fuck, bro. It was beautiful, bro. And people can see that, Like the Lord said, people can know that they're my disciple by how much you love each other. Because the love we have for each other is different, man. You know what I'm saying? You got different communities. You got Muslim communities. They show each other a lot of love. They might go to a store, give each other free fruit, but that shit ain't got nothing on us, man. Because we know what true love is, and people can tell the difference. All right. But it says, a man is tired and excessive laughter and gait, which means how he walk, show what he is, right? So you could tell people. You don't judge by a person's cover just because this person's skin color or he's this tall, whatever. No, you gotta judge all things. You gotta see how he walk, what he wears, how he talk, what is he talking about. But that's also what the scripture says too. You can tell a man by the fruit of his words. You can tell by what kind of man that is. You know what I'm saying? How he acts when he gets drunk. You know, scripture says, you know, liquor proves a man's heart. You know, so on and so forth, man. The countenance, your face, your aura. You know, even scientists. I wish I could find. I'm gonna have to dig for that little article. But they said scientists say that we can feel each other's aura pretty much. You know, which in other words, we can feel each other's spirit. You might be somewhere and somebody give you a bad vibe, and you can just feel it. This person got a demon on you. You don't trust the person, or you talk to somebody and they like, man, you just something about this person. This person is very just a good spirit, man. I don't know. You know, I was at my dad's friend's crib, and you know he introduced me to him. We was talking for a little bit. And he was like, yeah, man, you know, take my number down, man. Just something about you, man. You got a good vibe. You got a good spirit on you, man. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, now, this is Ecclesiastes 8:1. It says, who is as the wise man, and who knoweth the interpretation of a thing? A man's wisdom maketh his face to shine, and the boldness of his face shall be changed. Right? You know, so certain things you do, man, it changes you. That's the spirit, man. I was looking up drill sergeants and shit. You know what I mean? And they showed you their face and their voice before they did drill sergeant school, become a drill sergeant. And when they went in, they was a little bit more light skinned. Their voice was normal, probably high pitched, whatever. But after they was done with it and they became a drill sergeant, their voice became more raspy, deeper, and their face became darker. You know what I'm saying? The whole countenance changed, man. They almost look like a fucking different person. You know? And that's with everything, man. You know, especially with this truth. Especially with dealing with wickedness, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's just a quick example right there. You know, my mom's boyfriend, you know, after he said, hey, after that day, he took that picture with that fucking witchcraft shit. You know what I'm saying? That man just changed. You know? She pretty much quoted scriptures without even knowing. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, she, you know, I ain't even gonna say that part. Never mind. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. You know, that's how it is, man. You know, it changes your face. But that's pretty much the point, man. Lord willing, hopefully brothers was edified. You know what I mean? Just stay in the spirit. You know, if you in this truth, the Lord gonna give you the spirit of discernment, and you can just try people's spirits, man. You know. You know, don't trust everybody just because somebody come up to you and say something. You know, women, all that, man. Look at their countenance. Look what they talk about. You know what I'm saying? They always talking about drama. Don't get with that bitch, man. You know what I'm saying? If a guy say he Hebrew Israelite and all he talking about is some bullshit and he ain't put no work in, you know, he just got a wicked ass aura around him, man. You know. Try him out a little bit more, man. That's why the scripture says try the spirits, whether they be of Yahweh Shai, man. Don't just trust everybody and just, you know, be careful, man. If you out and about, brothers might go out for a drink or something like that, or go bowling, man. If an area somebody, people ain't, you know, the spirit ain't, you know, the spirit off, and you just see some weird shit going on, man. Hey, man, you know, the spirit is probably telling you, man, get the fuck up out of there. You know, so get the hell out of there. You know, if you know through the spirit something is a bad situation, man, don't just turn it away. You know what I'm saying? You know, trust the spirit, man. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes the spirit will give you that gut feeling like, nah, something ain't right. You know what I'm saying? So, Lord willing, hopefully that was edifying. Give all praises and glory to Yahweh, but Shem Yahushai, but Shem Hakodash. The honors to the apostles, Jim Ruel, and shalom to the brothers doing this work. Shalom say, shalom.